What's up, brother?
What's up? What's up?
What you got going on, man? Long time no see. I didn't see you
I
yesterday.
know it's been a minute, huh?
Yeah, it's crazy, man. They doing some crazy construction around here. I guess they just they they doing internet stuff and they just got a wire yesterday. I drove up this morning. I saw like 20 counts and bunch of wires.
Man, it's crazy because they don't tell you, hey, we're gonna do this. They tell
Nah,
you this the last minute. Like in my neighborhood, like the light company decided, hey, we're going to work on you know this light, whatever, and they tell me the last minute, hey, your lights are not gonna be working for so and so, and it's like, what if I had something planned, like a
yeah.
family
Or
get together?
they do that with everything, even with the water. They tell you the day off. Like, oh, if you see your water like kind of murky or low pressure, is us. We working. I'm like,
We're flushing it.
it's crazy,
Mm-mm-mm. I know.
right, bro?
Well, so um, man, I gotta tell y'all, today's episode comes from a moment I had recently. I was watching A Righteous Perspective with Wise, and his panel. Shout out to Wise and the whole team. They were having a real conversation about men lacking, um, not just in physically, but because they're saying that they were talking about how modern men are lacking, but not more in leadership, responsibility, and direction. And one of them said something that really stuck with me, that when men fall behind, women are forced to step up. And when I hear that, it hit me because that's exactly what we're seeing in our culture right now. Women are stepping up because men stopped showing up. And at first glance, that might look like empowerment, but deep down, it's an imbalance. And and look, let's keep it real. The feminist movement didn't start off bad. It started in a good place with something good, with women fighting for equal opportunity, fair pay, respect in the workplace. And that was needed at the time. That was right. But somewhere along the line, it warped and shifted from equality to superiority. Excuse me. To the part where they want a seat at the table to we don't need men to be at the table at all. And that's where the balance broke. See, once that happened, masculinity started getting demonized. The same traits that we used to call leadership, courage, assertiveness, strength started being called toxic. And when that message is repeated enough, boys started growing confused about what it means to be a man. They start shrinking instead of stepping up. They started apologizing for being who they were designed to be. And that's that's a damaging thing, because when men lose confidence in their role, everything around them starts to fall apart. Families, relationships, communities. And the worst part is, we start believing that this confusion was progress, that somehow erasing masculinity, strength, was the way to create equality. But equality doesn't mean sameness, it means balance. When I go back to scripture, and because I'm Christian based, Genesis 3:16 says, "Your desire shall be for your husband, and shall rule and he shall rule over you." Now that verse gets a lot of heat, but it's not about dominance. It's about divine design. It's saying there's a natural alignment between man and woman. Men were made to lead with love. Women were made to align with trust. Not one above the other, but both synced to get to work together. But now society flipped that. Now, if a man says he wants to lead, people call him controlling. If he wants to show strength, they call him toxic. If he sets boundaries, they call him insecure. And when and then they wonder why men are passive, why marriages fall apart, and why families feel disconnected. It's because we dismantled the blueprint. And Julio, I think this is what Wise and his panel were really getting at. Not just that men are missing, but that when men stop being men, women end up feeling like they got to carry double. And that's not liberation, that's exhausting. You see, when men stop taking responsibility, women start taking a hit emotionally, spiritually, even physically. And you know what happens then? Resentment builds, trust breaks, the whole dynamic gets flipped upside down. That's why this conversation matters. Not because we're trying to go backwards, back in time, but because we're trying to restore this balance. Because the truth be told, it's not that women have changed too much, it's that men have stopped rising to the challenge. I think about how we used to raise boys. We gave them discipline, structure, responsibility. We told them, you're going to be a protector, a provider, a leader. Now, we just tell them, just be yourself. No standards, no structure. And that sounds nice, but without a purpose, being yourself doesn't mean much. We stop challenging them to grow. And we criticize them for not being strong. And what happens when you raise boys without challenges? They grow up expecting comfort. They expect validation, not accountability. And that's where society's been for a while now, comfortable, soft, and confused. But here's the truth: women don't want to lead everything. They'll do it if they have to, but deep down, they want a man who gives them a reason to rest. Not because she's weak, but because she's strong and she's tired of being the extra strong for everyone because she's trying to fill this role. And this isn't about putting women down, it's about calling men up. Because if we raise boys right, if we teach them to take initiative, to have ambition, to lead from integrity, the balance returns naturally. That's what we've got to get back to: raising men with purpose, not pride, with backbone, not bravado, with heart, not hype. That's this episode, and that's what I would like to talk about. So, we're starting today. This episode is not a critique of culture, it's a call to rebuild, to bring back the kind of men that women can trust, the kind that men, uh, communities can depend on, the kind of men that our sons can look up to and say, that's what I want to be. And Julio, uh, I think that what I said probably might be controversial for some, and maybe I'm too conservative, but you know, stepping aside from politics, I honestly think that we allowed as men to for this feminist group to change from its natural course. And like I was saying in my little monologue, that they went from having a seat in the table, which rightfully so, right? At the time, remember war, what was it, World War I? The women's husbands didn't return, so they had to get back to the workforce in World War II. And so it was like, okay, so that's fine. They deserve to be on the table. But now it got to the point where we're like, we don't even want the men in the table now. And
Mm.
I think now you have a lot of single mothers raising these boys, and they don't know what to look to. And I mean, what's your thoughts on that? I mean, you have a son. Um, I wish I had a son. I have nothing but daughters, which I'm proud to have a bunch of girl. You know, I'm a girl dad, but you know, I with me saying this and reading that verse where God told Eve that your desire shall be to the man, which your husband, right, and he will rule over you, and what I believe it means is that that's where we have to be that man, because honestly, I have, like, again, I have three daughters, right? So I've seen through my daughter's eyes, I've seen through my sisters, seen, you know, through my cousins and stuff. When they fall in love with a man, they automatically follow that man. And sometimes that's where us older brothers or whatever, we look at, or you know, young, even younger brothers, whatever, we look at our sisters and we see this guy that we think he's not worth anything. We get to like, why do we feel, you know, protective? Because we know that she's following this guy and this guy ain't leading her to the right path, and
Mhm.
that just happens naturally. But that's my opinion. But what do you think? You think I'm maybe too radical? I don't know.
Nah, no, you not, man. It's just the Bible wording is kind of like strong when mentioning ruling. You know, it's just like I mean, they could use a better word. You know what I mean? They could use.
Hey, that's a translation, Bubba. Hey, and you know, hey,
I know.
hey, and Julio, here's the thing. Let me ask you this. Now, this is still in the subject. When,
Man, you about to get me in
when
trouble.
I am gonna get you. I'm gonna get us all in trouble.
Yeah.
When Eve gave the apple to Adam, whose fault was it? I
Hmm.
mean, that whole story. Who do you think was at fault?
It was Adam's fault, man.
Yes,
He should take
and
a
you,
responsibility. He should be like, "Hey, where you get this from?" You know, and
yeah, because remember what his responsibility was, and I guess people, some people, which you answered, I agree with your answer, because he was supposed to be the dominion of the land, and God told them you can eat from all these trees except for that one, because you will surely die. So, you know, if it, just imagine you have a road in front of your house and you have a 3-year old, are you, you know, that road is not protected. What are you going to do as a man with your child? You're going to protect, you're going to stand there, make sure that that child doesn't cross that, you know, anywhere near that road, because you're like,
yeah,
you see the danger. So Adam, how did he not have where she got the fruit? You know, like he just like, and then he decided, oh, the woman you gave me. I mean, typical us guys, right? The woman you
yeah,
gave me,
yeah. He was.
she gave me the food, you know, and I just ate it, you know. I mean, babe, I wasn't looking at that girl. I mean, I mean, she was wearing that, you know. Hey, you know, so it's like it's the same thing that we do, and it's just funny when I read it, you know, history. It's, I can't help but to think, it's how relatable we're still the same. Adam, we got his trait on that, you know, where, you know, you ever seen Kevin Hart's where he's talking about how men we're so dumb. He's like,
Yeah,
he goes,
I
you
don't
ever
know.
go to a hotel and you're like all these girls in bikinis and you're the only guy there, and your wife is like, what are you doing? And he's like, oh no, I don't know. I'm just here. You know, I didn't, the girls are here. I'm not, you know, you put yourself in there, you know, but
I know.
you know,
And, yeah, but in this time of year, you know, this is in this era is so different from 60 years ago.
yeah,
Now we have, like I told you so many times, we have phones, we have the internet, and now basically our children, I believe more than 50% of our child or of our children, and I mean probably in the United States are raised by this.
yeah,
You know, I've seen as low as 3 years old with a tablet or phone in their hands. You know, they getting accustomed to watch this, and this influence kids, we believe it or not. And now we are seeing those effects from 2015. Now we're seeing them because those kids now are teenagers. You know, and they're not accustomed of how we were raised 25 years ago, 35 years ago. that we didn't have no tablet, no phones. We used to ride bikes, be outside. um, our parents were the main influencers. They were the influencers of the era. I mean, our household. So nowadays, man, these kids getting influenced by this. They're doing challenge. How dumb are they? And they still doing it despite their dangers. They're still doing challenge, and people perish about them. But mm, they basically took our our manhood away in some shape or fashion, because now they don't listen to the parents. And if we take the tablets away, if we take the internet away, they get mad, they get upset. But I guess we have to do it to get the reins back,
Back.
like trying to bring that wild horse back to the rail. And hey, this is the straight path that you have to go to in order to to have a successful life, or have some values, some principles. And then you do whatever you want after you 18 or 25, whatever case. But I guess we have to bring back the nuclear family.
We do.
We,
We
we
do.
have to bring back the old, like I will say the old order, where mom and dad has the last word in the conversation. You know what I mean? and
Yeah.
and that need to bring back, like,
And
definitely.
see,
And more men, like you were saying, more men need to step up. I'm tired of seeing, like, I hate people complaining. I hate when I hear people complaining. It kind of like boils my blood. I'm like, man, I get irritated when I see somebody complaining, especially a man
especially
complaining
a man,
about. I
especially a
seen
man.
it. I seen it online. And you guys in the comment, you guys comment down below. When you see people complaining online about how much they have to pay on child support, I'm like,
Like,
dude, that's your responsibility.
exactly. Take accountability of your actions.
I mean, I seen so many people like, oh man, I had to pay 1,100, 1,200, or $300. I'm like,
And
guys,
and
it's
see
not that
Julio,
bad.
and see
It's not
Julio,
that bad.
there's guys, right, that will say, what, and talking on the point you're at, where uh I have to pay child support. I have to give her alimony. I have to give her property. Yes. I mean, that's part of being a leader, right? If something happens that either you messed up or she messed up and y'all just can't get together, unfortunately, a real man would, and you might say, well, that's dumb. I'm how am I going to lose everything? You don't have to lose everything, but at the same time, don't leave her without anything, right? And a lot of men, because they're resentful, or whatever reason, that, and I'm not going to call them men, I'm going to call them man child. These man childs would complain, like
Yeah,
you said, that I got to pay child support, I got to do this, but that's part of being a man, like, hey, I got this. I'll take care of it, because I'm stepping up. And I made the bad choice to get with you, and it's going to cost me this much because I didn't think right, and
yeah,
I didn't make the right choice. So that's accountability. Now, of course, there's a line that she can overstep. Yes, I'm not advocating for her to take everything from you, but you know, at the same time, that's why you have to be smart as a man, and you know get a lawyer, protect yourself in certain ways, but understand that if you're paying her 20% out of your check or something, and that's a lot, but if you're doing that, it's going for your kids. It's your kids, and the way she spends it, that's not on you, that's not your business. If she spends it on everything, keep track of that. I've given them this, and why is my child still wearing the same clothes from last year? Be smart, man. Let's think of that. Like, hey, um, I've given her a span of $30,000, right? So I don't see the 30,000 of my kids because I'm still buying them, and keep receipts when they're in your custody and you're buying them clothes still, because that happens a lot, Julio. I know so many people that they do that. Like, I have a friend, and he does that. But guess what? He got custody. He was a smart man. And he's probably gonna see this and he's gonna know who I'm talking about. But he's got custody of his child. But you're right, Julio. Is I mean, we need to get that. I don't know what it is, but we need to get back in there. And honestly, it just starts with like acknowledging that we're different. But with what we read or what I read about the Genesis 3:16, it's not really meaning like he's and that's what people understand it that he's rules over her. No, 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 no. The Hebrew word just couldn't get translated correctly, but it means to lead, to lead. So what does that mean? Lead means that she's trusting your decisions for you to lead the whole family. She's putting that trust, and that trust is also stems to what? Respect. So if you're a man in her eyes, she's willingly doing that as a desire. That's what that means. So basically, my understanding is you need to be that man that she wants to follow, that she wants to follow, not that she's being forced to follow, because that's not what it means. It means
Hmm.
to, like Julio, you're an honorable man. As a friend, I respect that, right? And that makes you feel good to hear that. That's the same thing. Imagine now with your wife telling you that I want you to lead us, trust, and you need to be the man that she loves, and you need to love her because men, we prefer respect over love. Like, and I'm gonna be facts with you. Like, if my wife respects me a lot, man, I love that. You know, what I mean, like, but and the same thing. If I'm romantic to her and or make her feel like a woman, she's gonna love me no matter how many mistakes I. Because us guys, we make a lot of mistakes, dude, every day, all the time. Um,
Yeah, I
we're
know.
no saints, and
Yeah, but
we need
it
them.
is. Yeah, we what we need to do is just bring back the old school manhood. That's all.
Yep.
You know, yeah, no phones, no tablets. Just let the kids be kids. Just let them play outside. Let them fight.
Yeah.
Sometimes you know how many fights I got when I was like 11, 13 years
Me
old. I
too.
was I was fighting all the time. It was
Look
like,
at look at my nose.
look at mine.
It's broken,
Look at mine. Mine's
Yeah.
like kind of like crooked a little bit.
Dude,
So it was like,
you remember when you get in fights with let's say this one kid in your school who either you teased him or he teased you, and you had enough, even though you were scared. And you got scared inside, like I'm gonna fight him. Oh, I'm gonna fight him, and you fight him, and then what happens a week after? You guys are best friends. You guys start talking about, we need to get back to those days. A good ass whooping,
yeah,
it goes a long way,
and that's what happened. And like if you take this to politics, I hate to do it, but
Yeah, but it
for
is.
example,
It's yeah,
let's take it to politics real quick. And I was seeing the stats the other day. I was seeing a comedian talking about the gun violence here in the United States. I don't know if you've seen the post. They were talking about that out of 193 countries, United States is number three, whatever, in gun violence.
yeah,
But because at five cities, because five cities, Chicago, Memphis, uh, I think it's like Los Angeles and New York, and some, like five major cities, and they have so much violence. If you were to take out those five countries, those five cities out of the equations, and how
yeah.
we ended up number three, we would be 183.
Wow.
You see what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
but those cities are run blue it's blue states, blue cities, pretty much. And what happened now was like you see Donald Trump attacking those cities, like cleaning those cities. It took a man to say, "Hey, you know what? We're gonna get this problem solved with a strong hand and using force, pretty much showing force." And what happened to Chicago now? What happened to Memphis? People are walking around like we saw the other day in the video. People are enjoying walking outside, going to the corner store. riding bicycles, kids playing the playground without fear of being shot. But it took a man to take responsibility and clean up the mess. And what happened? Everybody got in line.
And Julio, what you're explaining right now, what we're living actually, not just explaining what we're living, you just described what a household looks like. Okay? So just bear with me.
Simple enough.
Imagine the years with Biden, that was with living with my mom. You know, we got two divorced parents. I'm living with my mom. It's all love and cater, you know,
And you
love
do
and
whatever
this,
you want.
emotional, yeah. And then you got the dad who's stern, Donald Trump, Papa Trump, right? He comes in here and he's doing this. And for all these people that were raised and coddled, they see that as evil. That's why they see it like that, right? It's like
Yeah.
you're being too hard, you're being too strict. But in a normal family, in a very conservative original family, what it used to be back in the days, like we're talking about, the
Hmm.
dad would be hard, the mom would be soft. And when you have both of them, they make this perfect uh,
I would say
harmony.
blend. Yeah. It's
Yeah,
perfect blend.
blend.
Yeah.
Exactly. And you and your wife, y'all do that too when you guys are instructing and teaching your children. I do that here in my household. My wife always, and she doesn't do it in front of the kids. Like, let's say we're disciplining our kids and we're giving them a lecture and stuff. And
Hmm.
if I'm being too hard, my wife will pull me to the side and be like, "Hey, man, you need to calm down. I mean, you're kind of going way too hard." And vice versa. If she's doing it and she's being too soft, I'll tell her like, "Hey, hey, come here real quick. You gotta, they gotta be disciplined." She's like, "I know, but this and that. Well, you be the bad guy and this and that." And I'm like, "We got to do this together." Or vice versa. She might be too hard, and I might be like, "Hey, that's calm down." And that's what we need. We have that duality, and like you said, it's a good fusion. It's like a perfect harmony.
Yeah. It's like a perfect drink.
And unfortunately, yeah,
It's a
and
perfect drink.
unfortunately, yeah, the perfect, yeah, exactly. And unfortunately, it leads to politics. As much as we try to get away from it, with
Yeah,
people,
but that's a vivid example of what's going on.
yeah,
You know what I
exactly,
mean? It's a vivid example. Just to take something, like physical, what's going on right now. And you're right. People see it. So people see law and order or strict by the rules. Some people like the weak, I would say weak people
yeah,
or soft minded people will take that as a sign of violence, a sign of danger, a sign of uh, fascism and all that stuff. Because you know
or
what?
yeah,
Because
they
they don't
they
like it.
they see it as an abuse,
Yeah, yeah, they're seeing that abuse, and people are stupid by thinking that way because it's irrational. When you look at those cities that we were talking about, and when you look at the nuclear family, how everything is broken down in pieces, you have to put it back together somehow. You know what I mean? And sometimes you have to when dad come home and he finds that the house is not in order, the first thing he do is like, hey, I'm here. That's what he
yeah,
has to do. I'm here. And you see videos and a lot of people, a lot of our viewers probably seen videos online of kids doing whatever to their mom, but when dad comes around, be like, hey,
yeah,
get on the bed, time to sleep. You don't hear no fuss. You don't hear nothing.
nothing. I know,
They will,
dude.
okay, daddy, and they go straight to bed. And that's what we need nowadays. And that is what's happening in those cities. But we need to bring it down to our level, like to the nuclear family, and and be a man.
Exactly.
We
Be
asking, we asking, we asking the males to be a man. It's two
That's
different
it.
things.
Yeah, it's
Male
two
and,
different
and,
things.
and be a
Yep.
man is two different things. So
Yep.
we asking those males, those young males, those kids that are raising up right now. If you're looking at this right now, just be a man.
and
You
and
know,
what that means to be a man, it means Take accountability of every action, everything you do. If you do something good, it comes with the consequences, whether it's good or bad, but it comes
Yep.
with consequences. If you do something bad, it comes with consequences. It comes with either good consequences or bad consequences. And then
Absolutely.
sometimes it doesn't come with anything, but everything you do, it does even nothing is a consequence, it something happens, there's a cause to the effect. So you always that's why we always say make the right decisions. You hear
Hmm.
this because that's what it is. Like if I go out there and I just punch a random person and he happens to look like Vin Diesel, what two things are gonna happen to me? Either one, I'm gonna run away, or two, he's gonna catch up and kick my butt. You know what I mean?
Right.
So, you gotta look at little stuff, what you do,
Yeah.
and okay, so that's accountability, and then there's the other one to lead, because you're gonna be a provider and a protector. Now you're gonna say, well, I don't have any, I don't know how to provide because we're not back in the hunting age where we're hunting. But what this means now is actually get a career, get a job, get a skill set, whatever it is. Um, it can
Create
be,
business. Do
yeah,
whatever.
creative business, whatever, right? And then that provides. And again, it doesn't mean you're going to be a millionaire. You don't have to be a millionaire. You could make a good living between 60 to 80,000 a year, you know. um, Now, but that's another topic. But as a provider protector, well, if I don't know if here's a joke, but when there's a noise in the house or something, and it's my turn to go. Well, it's always my turn to go check it out. uh, I'll be like, man, babe, there was this girl. She wouldn't let me alone. She's probably the one out there making all that noise, so she can go and check it. No, I'm just
Oh
playing.
my God.
I'm just playing. No, but yeah,
My
when you
wife.
hear a noise,
Oh, yo, my wife, she's the same way. My wife, she just told me like, I hear something outside. Basically, she telling me go check it out.
yeah, and that's
You
what we
know,
do.
but
We go check it
as a
out.
man, like another point that I want to bring up is, I know we telling young males to be a man, and, and do all that, but I guess is it start with example. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
Start with us. If we asking them to do something, but we do otherwise, we're not living to those standards. So if we
exactly.
holding somebody to a standard, we have to be even higher. You know what I
Yep.
mean? We have to be two times above them. So if we ask our kids just to clean their room, for example, twice a week, vacuum the carpet, clean the bathroom, all the stuff,
Yeah,
they have to see us doing the same thing. Because what
I
kind of man
agree.
are you raising when you asking your kid to go to work and when and whatever, let's say he's 80, he's still living in the house, and you ask
Yeah,
him and you tell him all this stuff to do, but you don't do anything on those things. You don't do anything. You're drinking, you're smoking, you lay in the couch, you watching sports, but you don't do nothing.
yeah,
What he's going to do? He's gonna look at you weird because he'd be like, okay, he's telling me all these stuff like do this, do that, get in shape, do my homework, go to work, but yet he's in the couch all day
yeah. Watching the game,
watching the
drinking a
game,
beer.
arguing, fighting. Like, what kind of sample are we setting to those are to our kids and to our ladies? So and that goes both ways to our boys and our girls because I treat my daughters like princess, like the way she should be treated. If with my boys a different thing, with my girls a different thing. It's two
Yeah,
different kind of love. You know what I mean? And I teach my boy to be. I treat him. I'm a bit rough, but not too hard. You know what I mean? I ask him to do a lot because I told him like you have to create something. And my daughters, I'm teaching them to be girly, all that stuff. But now they are now they're 13, 15 and 13, 9, that age. Now I have to teach them a little bit rough, but show them the reality. You know what I mean? What to
exactly.
expect out of the man. So it start with us, just to
And
throw it out there to make it simple.
that
Start
is
with us.
that is that is very deep, though, Julio. It starts with us, right? If we, man, if it, I just love that you said that, because if I'm over here telling my son, you know, be this, but I'm doing the opposite and I'm not
Mhm.
showing him, that's just like, okay, so I'm just going to say that I do it, but then I don't have to do it. And that is just, or two, it could confuse them, right? And it's like it makes sense what we're seeing now, and you get these liberals, what we're saying right now, you'll get these liberals, they'll say, well, I was raised in a two-parent family, but that doesn't mean that your dad was doing what he was supposed to do. That's what, just, he wasn't being a real man, like we're discussing, like the way we're upholding ourselves, and to whoever's watching it, um, look at it this way. This is how I live my life, Julio. I look at it like this: I'm a hero to my kids. So if I were to die today, and anyone that goes into my funeral, if they go and they talk to my children, I want them to hear stories like, man, your dad was this, he was good at this, he was good at this. So everything I try to do my best, because I'm their hero and I'm supposed to fill those shoes. And at the same time, I have to have some respect, that I'm not going to let anyone disrespect their hero. And I've said this before. So I live like that. So that way I know that when I go, when I'm out of this earth, I know they're going to hear good things or positive things about me. And I think living like that, I'm seeing from my kids' eyes how they view me, and that kind of affirms what my suspicions is, that I'm actually being a man,
Yeah.
you know?
It's building that legacy. It's it had to be, you have to build that legacy as a man. You cannot be uh, a another, like a fly on the wall. You know what I mean? You cannot be like that. You have to build something. You have
Yeah.
to create something, and
And then,
and that is simple. And some people. I told my son before before he left, like yeah, almost 2 weeks ago. I
oh
told
man, you
him,
wait, time out. You might have to catch up the viewers. The announcement
no,
of the
I
tour.
will not tell him. I just say it like this. I will tell him when he graduates. But like I told him, like, you have to become better than me.
He
You know what I
will.
mean? You have to go further. And he looked at me weird. He's like, you have to do 10 times or twice as better as I did. So you can pass that on to our children, so they become better than you and better than me. So, and that's how you build a legacy. You know what I mean? I told him, like, sometimes in a family that came from humble beginnings, if you want to be a millionaire, somebody has to break the mold. Somebody has to break the cycle.
Yeah.
Somebody has to work hard for weeks, years on end to make it happen. For you and your family and the rest of it, be wealthy, but it's always take one person to do it in the family. You know what I mean? And it probably couldn't be me, but I told him it probably be you. You know what I mean? I probably set the stage and push in the position that you can build upon and be better than me and probably become a millionaire. You know what I mean? But if we continue to improve each other, I improve you, you improve your son, and your son improve his son. Maybe somebody along the line be set up for success and be able to do something with what they have. You know what I
Yeah.
mean?
Yeah,
So,
exactly.
and that's what I told my son. Like, I probably die not millionaire, but I probably die well off. But I want you to be millionaire. If
Yeah.
you cannot make it, at least put your son or your daughters in that position. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And that's a legacy that we build. That's like generational wealth and all that stuff. That's another rabbit hole, but we have to do it. You know what I mean? We cannot, like we were talking the other day about um these people living on welfare for generations on end.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
You know what I mean? So we have to break the cycle, and sometimes take 2 or 3 cycles or generations to do it, and start with us. It's like you now. You have a great job, and you put your family in a position that can be good. You know what I mean? They are not poor, but you put them in the position to, like, hey, we are good. I took everything good, everything's good, but my daughters, you want your daughter to become better. You know what I mean?
Exactly. Yeah.
And and that's the position that we have to put our sons and our daughters in, so they have the better opportunities that we have. Like I didn't have all these opportunities when I grew up. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I
Exactly.
didn't have these opportunities.
Or our parents. Our parents probably didn't
Yeah,
have
they did what they
the.
have to do to put me in
Yep.
the position, and I make the jump, and we pass it along, and we just push it forward. You know what I mean?
Which that's
That's like a
progress. That's
yeah, it
progress
is
right there.
it's a
Yeah.
relay run. You know what I mean? It starts somewhere, but it's
And
gonna
and
finish.
and here's the thing, Julio. And I just had this lecture yesterday with my daughter. Um, Success is not a race, and the measure of success doesn't matter, right? Because it matters. It's like the beauty is in the beholder, right, or something like that, right?
The
Beauty's in
eyes
the eye
beholder. Yeah.
of the beholder. Well, that's the same true with success. Like,
Hmm.
if and I'm gonna go extreme just to kind of, if she wants to be a Kroger sacker, sacking the groceries, right? If she better be the best grocery sacker in there. I mean, she needs to be like the employee of the month for like 20 years or something, right? And that way, that's a form of success. I'm not going to knock it down, right?
Hmm.
Yeah, I would like her to be obviously better. My standards are way higher than that for her, or for all three of them. But I tell her, like, don't feel like you're backed up. Like, don't quit looking at the next person or the other person. You worry about yourself. And if they seem like they're having more success than you are, and they're getting it faster, hey, that's life. But don't think that you're in a race, because before you know it, it might take longer, but then you wind up being way past the spectrum. And success is not a race. And I think that's what I try to teach my kids. And I think we were talking about this too the other day, that these wealthy people, they don't see money the way we do. Like, they see it as a moving money, as of a moving deal. Like, they don't see it the way we do, where we're like, oh, we got to save this much, or we got to use this. Like, they
Hmm.
get into debt because they it's kind of like that saying, movement is life. They move money around everywhere, and it's just constantly moving. They're never staying in one spot. And I'm noticing that as I'm growing in my career, that money is just, to be wealthy, you just got to move the money around. I mean, and just, they can't stay in one place. Just move it, and move it to where it makes you. If it makes you some, like, if a dollar makes you $3, move it. And that $3 becomes $9. And just keep moving it. And but how do we do that? That's another tale. I mean, if I knew the secret, we would be in a different position. But yeah, like, I agree with you. You set your, like, what did you say? You set the stage for them. So, like, your parents set the stage for you, and you took off from there and put yourself in that position. Just like same thing with me. Now we're trying to elevate him even higher. But of course, people are different. That's why this whole episode's about, we have to learn to teach them ambition, like that desire to want to get better than you, better than my dad. Because if we don't have that ambition, and the way this thought came to me is because and why in uh the righteous perspective, they were talking about how uh you know there's a guy that doesn't make enough. Like, let's say he makes 50K a year, and his wife makes 100K a year, right? And then they were saying that men that women will be like, you know what, you're making 50K, you ain't shit, you ain't this. And then she decides to leave him or whatever, or pushes him to try, whatever, right? But I don't think it's the money. What I think it is that this guy has no ambition. Usually, the guys that are comfortable with where they're at is because they have no ambition. Like, they'll be like, yo, I'm making 50K. I'm gonna play video games after work. Like you said, just be on the couch, watch the NFL game, put my hand like Al Bundy, and he's comfortable. And then the woman, she wants a guy that's ambitious, right? That's gonna like, you know what? I'm not okay with 50K. I want this. He and how do we lose that? Is my that I still find myself wondering, how is it the video games? Is it technology, like you said? Is it the missing absence of fatherhood? And when I mean absence of fatherhood, not the people that don't have a dad, but like the ones we're talking about, Julio, where the dad's there, but he's not there. He checked
Yeah,
out.
yeah. He's there, but it's not present.
Yeah.
He's present in body, but not in the whole sense. He just 50%. You know, he's just there. His mind elsewhere. But
And then
that's
what if
that's
what do
life,
you,
man.
what is your message to those, like, let's say if that father that we're describing that's not present and he's
Mhm.
watching this, what should be the message that we should tell him? You know, that is the other thing, the other question in the spectrum, like, dude, get up, this is your child. No one else will love your child more than you. So if you are that father, put your eyes, if you need help, there's help there. God will never reject you. If you seek him, he will teach you that. He will put that instill in you. If you had an absence of father. And if and the thing is, it just takes a little bit a day. That's it. If
I will tell you. I will tell you something that my dad told me when I was, well, 10 years old, and and I always carry this with me, right? My dad told me you don't have to be an expert on everything. You don't have to, but learn it enough so you know how to do it, and that's how you save money. I didn't get it at the beginning though. I didn't get it, but it kind of stuck with me. And when I grew older and I had my family and I started having a car, a house, and all this stuff, I always kind of like, you know what? If I know how to change a light bulb or working with electrical stuff or mechanical stuff, or if I know how to work concrete a little bit, welding, whatever. I'm not an expert, but I know how to do it. It saved me a lot of money in my lifetime.
and see
It saved me
that
a lot of fucking
that
money.
is beautiful. That is awesome, dude. That's like a definition of what a man should be. Like a jack of all trades. Like,
Yeah, you have
hey,
to be.
exactly, because it's like mama's gonna be like, hey, there is a light bulb up there that you need a 12-foot ladder to get to. Guess
Yeah.
what? You can count on me. At the moment,
Yep.
you can't count on me, which I'm guilty as charged. There's times where I'm like, mama's like, it's been already a week and you said you were gonna do it and you didn't
Hmm.
do it. So,
Yeah, especially nowadays. You're absolutely right. When stuff in the house, once you own a home, whoever a lot of people have a house. Sometimes, man, it's stuff popping up,
yeah.
leak on the faucet or
Yep.
leak on the plumbing, especially plumbing. Electrical, not much, but plumbing is very common. You know what I mean? Like the toilet
How do
don't
you
not
shut off
flush.
the main water?
Have to
You're
shut
not
off the
gonna
main
let the
water.
hey, you're not gonna
Yeah.
let the you may not know how to fix the plumbing part, but at least you got to know, hey, there, oh man, the wall, it's the water's bursting out of the wall. What are you gonna do? You're gonna just wait till the plumber gets there before? No.
It probably hours. Yeah.
Yeah, you're gonna go, as a man, find the shut off valve, shut it off, and
Yeah. Especially when you buy a house,
yeah,
your
definitely.
yeah, they will let you know like this is a shut off. This is how they let you know and they walk in like this is how you shut the water off right here. So there's no excuse. And for men, that's what we have to do. We have to be a jack of all trades and know a little bit of everything. You don't have to be an expert, but if you have the basic knowledge, that's how you save how you save a lot of money. And I have saved a lot of money. Sometimes I just look at stuff that I don't know how to do it. I YouTube it. I'll be
Yep,
like,
YouTube
oh,
it.
okay, that's simple. I got it. Boom. Go to go to the big box stores or local hardware store. Get me what I need. Come home, fix it. Hey, it took me an hour or two. Hey, but I fixed it.
Hey, but we did it.
Yeah, we did
It's
it.
like,
It,
yep.
it saved me probably $300 or $400 right there out of the. because you cannot do like, come on, man, like that's common sense. You cannot delegate everything because you'll be broke.
Correct. Yep.
You'll be broke. Sadly, you'll be broke, and that's my advice to all to those kids who and anybody who watch this. You don't have to be an expert on everything, but learn it enough to get by, and that will save you some money. And especially nowadays, you got YouTube. Just YouTube it.
And it'll
Simple,
make you feel so much good, like you'd be like,
and you learn
man,
something.
I did that,
Yeah,
like the inner man, like the cave man, the caveman,
you
who
get a dopamine of
caveman,
like I did it.
I know, like home improvement, like you
Yeah,
just Tim Allen, so it's crazy, and I hope this reaches somebody. And I was thinking, Julio, that as we're talking about this, one of these days I'd like to invite Wise to come join and expand more on this, because he brings a perspective that's similar to ours, but I just think it'd be very productive for the viewers or future viewers, whoever sees this. And
absolutely.
if you guys don't agree with what we're saying, or you have comments, concerns, reach us out. Tell us in the comments, and let us know. But I, I hope this helps somebody, because we we need it as a country, um, and I guess um, we just got to keep trying, right?
Yeah, we have to. All right,
And we
guys.
don't
Thank you.
go ahead. Yeah, that's good.
Yeah. So yeah, we would like to thank everyone for joining us today, and I really appreciate it. It's been a crazy 2 weeks for me, but now I'm back in track. I have to get back in the mood, to do all this stuff again. But yeah, uh, I'm glad to be back, and I guess tomorrow you probably see me. I got invite. I don't know. You got invite from Wise for tomorrow?
I did not. I'll check my
Oh,
email. I probably did,
well,
but
you
I don't
probably did.
know
You
if
probably
if
did.
I am if I am because
I'll see
yesterday
you.
I was
I'll probably
gonna.
see you there in the morning.
Yeah. Oh, if it's in the morning, I can't.
Oh, okay. Oh, yeah, you work.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'll let him know. But anyway, thank you so much, guys. Really appreciate it. Don't forget to like and subscribe. Also share the channel. And I'll see you guys on the next one. Robert, thank you, brother.
Yes.
I'll see you in a bit. Bye bye.